So Mrigashira, the fifth nakshatra, falls half in Taurus, half in Gemini. So it's moving from last two parts of Taurus into the first two parts of Gemini. That's why I have put two lords there. Lords in Taurus is Brahmana, which is Venus. Lord in Gemini is Mercury, which is Vaishya. Vaishya is a tradesperson. Let's start from the top. The temperament is Devgana. So it is looking by default for the higher aspects of anything. All Devganas are like that. They are looking for the higher evolutionary aspects, the soul evolutionary aspects of an idea, of whatever the drive is within the nakshatra to create or to preserve or to rejuvenate. The Varna or the propensity of Mrigashira is a servant class, which means what? What does it mean as servant? It does not mean servile. It just means you are here for service. Okay? Huge difference between the two. It's the way you interpret these things. So servant class implies Mrigashira is here to serve in some way. Be of service. The type is passive. Once again, like the balanced nakshatra, if the nakshatra is passive, it just sits there in a receptive mode and asks things to come towards it. I want the right opportunity, I want the right people, and then I'm going to do something. Otherwise, I'm going to just sit and waste my mind away. This could be the challenge of the passive nakshatras, all of them. The drive is sthiti, means they are more of preservers. They want to preserve something, all the good things of life, because it's they're going to look for preserving all the good things of life. This is the tendency of Mrigashira. Doesn't matter where it appears, in whichever chart of yours, natal, D9, D10. Now the Lord is Taurus. In Venus, Lord is Venus, which is about Brahmana, which is about knowledge and wisdom. We're going into Gemini, the second half, which falls in the first two padas of Gemini. It is Mercury, which is a Vaishya class. Like Mercury and Moon, a Vaishya class. I have marked there. So what is Mrigashira? The heart of it. We have to tie, in order to understand the heart of every nakshatra, we have to tie the drive into the life lesson down there. What is the life lesson of Mrigashira? Finding core commitment which resonates deeply to work with. This is the drive. Mrigashira is signified as the head of a deer. Think of the deer in the woods, in the forest. It's a mild animal. It is grazing quietly, but it is constantly going and searching for one thing or the other. Like the deer hunts for musk, right? The smell is coming from its own body, but it hunts all over the forest for that beautiful smell. This can become the theme of Mrigashira, provided you don't take care of it. If you take care of these things, your life could become a little more smoother in your natal as a personality, in your D10, in your career. Finding core commitment, there's the key word. You need to find what it is you would like to get committed to so that you can prevent your mind from drifting around like a wild butterfly. There you go. So Varna is servant, passive. So tying life lesson now to the drive. So in order to get out of your passivity, in order to get out of your mental inertia, you need to find the commitment first. Then you will go from passive to active. Next is sthiti. You need to preserve something. So finding core commitment for Mrigashira means you are trying to preserve something. This can change in Taurus and Gemini, by the way. It's a Mars-ruled nakshatra. All Mars-ruled nakshatras are split in two. This is the first one of the lot. We shall see the other ones later. So you have all these professions of Mrigashira: communication and media, research and analysis, arts and entertainment, marketing and advertising, counseling and therapy, travel and hospitality industry. I want you always to keep one thing in mind. Analyze the professions with respect to the lords which is coming in. Is it falling in the first half, which is in Taurus? It can be more earthly kind of profession out of the lot. And if it's falling in Gemini, it'll be more of airy kind of, more of mental, which requires mental wisdom. Okay. But it is intent on trade and commerce. So where would angles of Mrigashira be good in a D10 chart? I would think more of Varna, excellent communication skills, adaptability, able to connect with others at work, 12 to 15 degrees in your D10 chart. Also in Kubera, because it is about trade and commerce in Gemini, financially astute commercial mind. Also, it can be good in Vayu, dynamic, flexible, quickest to adapt, active intelligence, which is 15 to 18 degrees in your D10 chart. Why? Because it has to do, Gemini is an air sign. Vayu will naturally do good there. Okay? Ishana, okay, but not so much. It is more of Vayu and Kubera or Mrigashira Nakshatra. That will be your dominance. If you have planets like Mercury, Venus, personal planets, in the Mrigashira Nakshatra, either in your natal or in your D10 chart, you might want to consider the angles in the D10 chart as marked there. Either Vayu or Kubera, 15 to 18 degrees or 18 to 21 degrees. Mercury and Venus will shine very well in Mrigashira. All right. I've covered more of this D10 in the D10 series if you want to look up Mrigashira. Okay? The details are there by a sentence. You can go through that. Next, we shall cover Ardra Nakshatra. So, right there is the Chitra Nakshatra, the 14th. Let's begin from the top. Temperament is Rakshasa, which means it wants to ground things at a material level, not so much thinking about higher stuff. It's not inclined to. It's not inclined to work even on the human plane. So it is very much about things. Proper materialism is Rakshasa. Temperament is Rakshasa. Varna, or the propensity, is of a servant class, which means it wants to work. Chitra wants to slog, work it out. Type is active. So by default, Chitra will not know when to rest. It needs to learn to rest also. It's a very active nakshatra. The drive is sthiti, which means it wants to preserve something, whatever that something is. So it has two lords because it is split between Virgo and Libra. The lord in Virgo is very Vaishya-like. So it's about trade and commerce, Mercury. The lord in Libra becomes Venus, which is very Brahmana-like or which is intent upon knowledge and wisdom. Venus is interested in knowledge and wisdom, predominantly about sensual brilliance, about aesthetics, about finer things of life, changing things by the way of finer things of life, the beautiful things of life. That aspect in us as humans which can appreciate beauty. Think about this. Only humans as animals appreciate beauty in this earth. There's no other animal which does this. This is an aspect of the Creator which we all have. Let us see now the life lesson. Sensual brilliance needs truth, as ease and accuracy to shine. Let's go through that again. Life lesson of Chitra Nakshatra is sensual brilliance needs truth to shine. Chitra Nakshatra has the brilliance, but it needs the fuel, so to speak, of truth, which means as is. Don't make up your stuff for what you want the truth to be, is what life lesson for Chitra people is. Don't have your versions of truth. See things as they are, as is available, as is observable, as is. Truth is very important because these people tend to make up their own stuff and call it truth. So Chitra is looking for that truth which is as is, as well as it needs to be accurate. The Virgo part of it. Virgo loves accuracy of things. Hasta and Falguni mainly, it loves accuracy. Now you have learned the accuracy from Virgo. You need to bring it forward in Chitra. It's an active nakshatra. It wants to preserve that. What is it trying to preserve? It is trying to preserve the truth and make it shine by the sensual brilliance. It has a sensual brilliance built in. If your ascendant is in Chitra, the moon is in Chitra, you might even be very good looking, intent upon brilliance. Okay? Sensual brilliance. So in the D10 archetype, what happens to this particular nakshatra, right? Where would it shine? Well, it has two lords, so we need to look at two parts here, really speaking, depending upon which pada it sits in. In Virgo, it would become all about work. It's servant class nakshatra, so it's all about work. So third angle in the D10 chart, 6 to 9 degrees, Yama. Strong sense of discipline, strong sense of work, strong sense of ethics and morality. That might do well for Chitra because it needs some grounding. It is very active nakshatra. Also, it might do well in the fifth angle, 12 to 15 degrees, communication skills being Mercury. Also, it might do well in the seventh angle, 18 to 21 degrees in the D10 chart, which is financially astute and a commercial mind. Because it falls also in Libra, it might do well in the Libra side of it. It might do well in the Ishana angle and the Brahma angle also, which is Ishana angle is 8 angle of 21 to 24 degrees in your D10 chart. Ability to find deeper purpose and meanings. The ninth angle there being 27 to 24 to 27. The Brahma angle is intellectual capability, innovative thinking, and originality. Why? This is the part of Chitra which falls in Libra, which is ruled by Venus, which is a Brahmana planet. The Brahmana working as a servant class. Think about that. The Vedic Astrology gives you a rich array, rich variety of combos where nobody is really a Kshatriya, nobody is really a Shudra, nobody is really a Brahmana Kshatriya. It's all a mix, it's all a mishmash of energies which tell you or which give you hints about where you can shine in. Okay, that's the way Vedic astrology is. I'm just putting it out there the way it is told. In the next one, let us talk about part of Libra, Swati Nakshatra, the 15th Nakshatra. Okay. In the meantime, take care, be safe, share this video with others. If you know someone who has dominant Chitra, let them benefit from it. Take care, be safe. Today we'll do Nakshatra number 23, the heart of Dhanishta Nakshatra, because the moon is over Dhanishta Nakshatra today. It's the 2nd of August. So Dhanishta Nakshatra. Dhanishta Nakshatra, think of musical instruments, think of wealth in terms of talents. These people are very talented. Dhanishta Nakshatra. But we need to understand the depth, the heart of a nakshatra. The temperament of Dhanishta is Rakshasa, which means Rakshasa, Dev, Manusya. What does all this la 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 mean? Basically, Rakshasa means it's very tamasic in nature. It is powerful in the realm of tamas. They also have a lot of psychic kind of powers, Rakshasa Gana, by the way. But they kind of tend to use it for selfish means. That's where they go sideways. Varna is servant, okay? Like the caste, the great caste system. But we are talking about the caste of nakshatras here, not something which is popularly made out by inheritance. It's just the nakshatra's drive itself. The propensity is what you can call a nakshatra. Varna. In terms of varnas of a nakshatra, that means it is basically a propensity. It is a servant, which means what? It likes to work. That's why I put it in bracket, just work. Anybody can be a Dhanishta Nakshatra in this day and age in 2023. They can be engineers, they can be doctors, they can be lawyers, they can be politicians, they can be anything. Actors, actresses, right? But it loves to work. The propensity of Dhanishta is to work in the physical reality, work. right? And work for selfish means. Ironically, this is the nakshatra of Bhishma. Type is active. It is an active nakshatra. It falls between Capricorn and Aquarius. Two parts. It's split in half. Like you can see the sign over there, split in Capricorn and Aquarius. Two signs next to each other, 10 and 11. So type is active. Active and servant. So propensity is to work and type is active. Means it loves to go out there. What are active type nakshatras? They're basically ones which want to go out actively and participate. It's just straight and simple. They're outgoing people. They want to go out there and get stuff done. That is an active nakshatra. The drive is Sthiti. This is a little funny. First of all, they are Rakshasagana. Okay, so they like all tamasic things. They like to work. They're actively working, good workers. Drive is Sthiti. Sthiti is to preserve, to keep things as they are, to maintain the status quo, so to speak. The Lord in Capricorn and Aquarius both is Saturn. So it is the planet itself is a Shudra. Again, so it wants to work. So the temperament, Varna is also servant and the Lord is also a servant. So it goes very well, right? Saturn would do well in Dhanishta, for example, because Saturn loves to work. Saturn is a worker class. So we see all the talents and abilities there, which is a recap from the earlier D10 series. The same thing I have put here, right? Talents, creative and performing arts. They may excel in performing arts. Sign is of a musical instruments. Musicians, singers, actors, writers, designers that involve artistic abilities. Technology and innovation. We are talking about a professional here. Because once you know the profession's drive, you can understand it along with the temperament, the Varna, the type, the drive, and the Lord, etc. And the D10 chart also has stuck in there on the top right corner. By the way, if you're new to my channel, my content is best seen on a tablet like an iPad or a Samsung tablet, whatever tablets you have, or a desktop or a laptop, okay? Because it's a presentation style of looking at things, simple. And entrepreneurship and abilities, leadership and management, social work and community service, research and analysis. But what is the core? What is the core of Dhanishta Nakshatra? What is it trying to tell us? If my chart, open my chart, D1, D10, Ulnavamsha, whatever chart, and I see a number of planets and points bunched in Dhanishta in a particular house, the house characteristics will obviously be there, but what is it trying to tell me? That's what I'm trying to get at here. The life lesson tied into drive, like we saw in the previous one. What is the life lesson of a Dhanishta Nakshatra? God, it's hot here. Find the right kind of resources to make true wealth, beauty, wealth, materials. You need all of this. That's the life lesson of a Dhanishta Nakshatra. Now, find right kind of resources, tie it up with the drive. Drive is to have a sthiti. Drive is to have preservation. So Dhanishta Nakshatra needs to actively go out there, work to find the right kind of resources. Finding the right kind of resources. Resources might be wealth, material, musical instruments. If you're a musician, right kind of teacher, they are all resources. Resources can be anything. Dhanishta is good at music, for example. If you are creative and performing arts, you need the right kind of teacher. You need the right kind of musical instruments. You need the right kind of training. So many things you need. Technology and innovation. If you are developers, software programmers, engineers, IT professionals, you need proper education. You need proper degrees. You need to be trained in a proper institute or a university, college. If you're leadership and management, well, you might need to do an MBA, BBA, whatever it is, right? If you're social work and community service, even that requires a proper degree. You can't just go out and do social work, whatever you like. There's a structure to these things, how we participate in the society. Now let's look at the D1, D10 part of it. Over there, let me point the mouse out here. Right? What kind of nakshatra loves to work? Because work is very dominant in Dhanishta Nakshatra and they like to preserve. They're working to preserve something. That's the heart of Dhanishta Nakshatra, folks. They're working in order to preserve something, some aspect. Why I'm saying something, it depends upon which house it is placed, which planet is placed, and everything else. I've covered it in the D10 if you want to go through that one. But which are the angles or the archetypes which signify work? It's these first degrees. Agni,
strong work ethic, ability to overcome challenges, determination, inspirational, passionate, and creative. All of that is in the left side, right there, right? Yama, 6 to 9 degrees, right? The third angle. Yama is all about discipline, strong sense of responsibility, adherence to ethics, morality at work. 9 to 12, again, leadership and management requires competitive spirit, asura, drive to succeed, ambitious, change makers to traditional ways at work. So the initial angles, as you can see, even Indra, leadership qualities, power, authority. So from 0 degrees right up till 9 to 12 degrees, 0 to 12 degrees in your D10 chart, it will, if you have planets in Dhanishta, you see there, it ties in very well the angle in the Dhanishta Nakshatra, which it is making, the archetypes, D10 archetypes, and the drive of the nakshatra, they kind of blend in. You need to have a blending between the planets acting and the drive of the particular nakshatra for the nakshatra color to really show itself to you in your life, right? For example, if you have kshatriya planets like Mars and Sun sitting in Dhanishta, well, it's active, it provides fuel, but Mars and Sun are not necessarily servant class. You see what I mean? If you go more towards Vaishya, Mercury and Moon, they will do well in Dhanishta because it's more like a Vaishya. They'll have to go out there. They'll have to put up shops, restaurants, cafes, business, essentially. If it's a Shudra, yes, it'll do well. If it's a Mlecha, that will also do well. Rahu Ketu will also do well. Why? Because it loves to go out there. It's an active nakshatra. Rahu Ketu are active points. So they'll have to participate. They'll have to get stuff done. Right? So this is how you need to understand the planets working with the nakshatra as the backdrop. The planet is in the front, the nakshatra is at the back, like light shining from the back. Think of it like that. Okay? This is what you got to understand the nakshatra and heart of every nakshatra as. The planet is there in the forefront, in your zodiac, in your sign, moving through life in a particular area, wanting to get shit done. Whereas the light shining at the back, colored light, is the nakshatra. And now the drive of the planet and the color of the one angles, what we are talking about, D10, have to match. Like you can't have a warrior going out and studying the Vedas, for example. Mars and Sun are not very good at studying the Vedas because they are not Brahmana Nakshatra planets. They are more Kshatriya planets. I want to go out there and get shit done. So Dhanishta is about that. Dhanishta active planets will do very well in this. That means Mars and Sun will do well in this. And so will Saturn do well in this. Think of these. Tie the Lord, Aquarius and Capricorn, to the drive which goes on here. Aquarius is what? Tamasic female and fixed sign. Aquarius is Tamasic fixed and female sign, right? Movable sign, I think. Yeah, Capricorn is movable, Aquarius is fixed. So in Capricorn, this will tend to move a lot of energy because it's already an active nakshatra. You see what I mean? But what is their life lesson finally? It's to find the right kind of resources. This is the main challenge of Dhanishta. They might get stuck in their life if they are not getting the proper resources. So if you're Dhanishta out there listening, please go out there, find the right resources that is needed for you in whatever your talents are. In any one of these things, for example, it may be something out of this list also, of course. Okay? So I'll catch you in the next one. Meanwhile, take care, be safe, have a great day.